the Browns mess up with Deshaun Watson. It certainly looks like it, right? This is one of those things where, because in case you haven't heard, there are more lawsuits coming. It's up to 24 now. The lawyer for all of the women suing Deshaun Watson said they've been getting a lot of calls since the Real Sports episode aired, and there may be even more lawsuits coming. The Browns and the NFL are saying, "Oh man, we didn't know about this," but which is not a good look when you should have been doing your due diligence before ever agreeing to a trade, agreeing to that contract. And now there's the calls for essentially for him to kind of, I mean, you have some people calling for him to be essentially banished from the league, right? Because you look at Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley got a year for $1,500 of losing bets, mind you. But if you compare that to what Deshaun
pulling the
Watson,
Phil Mickelson,
yeah,
on a smaller scale,
if you compare that to what Deshaun Watson's doing, if he got a year, how many decades does Deshaun get, right? And this is a thing that's picked up a lot of steam on social media. People saying, don't even try to work this out with Deshaun. Don't try to make this okay. Don't try to move forward and have him as your franchise quarterback. You need to pull the plug, right? And on one hand, I think, yeah, I mean, he's clearly not the guy that he sold himself as, right?
Yeah.
Clearly. But then on the other hand, I say no, because you look around the NFL. I mean, he's not even the only high-profile quarterback to have these kind of issues. You had Ben Roethlisberger, you had Brett Favre, you had Peyton Manning. They didn't do anything to those guys, right? You have players all around the league. You got Tyreek, what's up, living legend?
Always with the perfect timing.
You've got it becomes a question of how do you legislate it, right? Because if you want to say, hey, you know what, we're drawing a line in the sand right now, zero tolerance. If you have these kind of issues, violence against women or sexual assault or anything like that, you're gone. I'm all for that. Deshaun can be gone. Tyreek can be gone. Anybody else who has those kind of issues can be gone. But that also means, like I said, no Ben Roethlisberger can't be part of the league. No Peyton Manning and Eli on Monday Night Football, any of that kind of stuff. And that's fine. But my problem with it is I know that's not the way that it's going to go. It would be Deshaun Watson, you're suspended for 2 years, 3 years, however long, and we'll work around everybody else, because that's how the NFL operates.
Yeah. This is perfect. This is perfect right here. OTR Mike says Peyton got jammed up. See, now how many of you guys know about Peyton Manning? When we say Peyton Manning's been involved in something like this, how many of you guys know? Just put a thumbs up or say yes in the chat. I'm curious, because look, Peyton Manning, he might be before some of you guys' time, and he's retired already, and the media doesn't ever talk about it. But serious case.
Mm-hmm.
How they try to cover up was even worse.
Yeah.
Right. And involved his father. His father's a terrible person as well. Archie Manning. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The only person I like in that family is Eli.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't talk. Yeah. Okay. Living Legend remembers Peyton. Danity doesn't know about the story. Yes. Hendo knows about it. Okay. So this went back to his time in Tennessee.
Yes.
And he had a situation with a trainer where he teabagged her. Okay. If you guys know what teabag is, right? And she was upset about it. She complained about it. He denied it at first, and then he tried to say, "Oh, actually, I wasn't. I didn't do that. I tried to moon somebody else or something like that." So he tried to make up some excuse, and she filed a lawsuit. She got fired over it. Archie Manning and Peyton, they both basically try to ruin this woman's career.
They did ruin her career. They didn't try. Yeah. They did.
Yeah.
They tried to ruin her reputation by saying, just tell people she sleeps with black guys.
Yes. Yeah.
It was. They essentially got her banished from her work, and I think she had to end up signing an NDA or something like that, and she can't work in that field anymore. And they ruined her career to keep this off of Peyton essentially. And it never really stuck. Tanja saying Ben had 1 charge, Deshaun has 24 and 66 and possibly 100. Ben had a couple of accusers, but and this is important. Neither one of them have any charges. Deshaun hasn't been charged with anything. He's being sued.
Yes, yeah, and that's the thing, right? Ben Roethlisberger, he had 2 accusations, and if you listen to the stories, they are just terrible.
Yeah,
right. Drag one woman to the bathroom.
Yeah, and listen, I mean, I don't want to.
It's not a comparison,
belittle what's happening with Deshaun Watson. I mean, what Ben did was worse. I think
I think
the number of people, obviously, but the acts that Ben committed allegedly committed were worse. But again, neither one of them were charged with anything. Peyton Manning was never charged with anything. So and that's why I said it gets into how do you legislate things like that, because
we didn't even talk about Brett Favre. Did we mention Brett Favre?
I mentioned it, but we didn't talk about him. But yeah,
he didn't get suspended either.
No.
And he refused to cooperate with the league, and they just let him play out his career and retire.
Yolanda says formal charges are forthcoming. Stay tuned. Maybe, but I thought that before when it was just the 22 lawsuits, and
that's what I thought. Because then they was it 2.
There were 2 separate grand juries that came back with no charges. So I mean, we'll see. Like I said, it seems like there's a lot more coming, so we don't know.
So,
but yeah.
So okay, my thoughts on it real quick is man, look, a lot of teams felt comfortable with what was going on. No charges pending. He was already out the league for a year. Not officially, but that's what happened. I think everybody felt like this will die down. He might get a couple games suspension, and then you can move on. I think and the Browns gave up a lot with this in mind. And if I'm the Browns, if I'm looking at all this and saying, all right, cool, one more person adding their name to the lawsuit doesn't change anything in my mind, because we're not talking about charges. We're talking about women coming out adding their names to the lawsuit, and I think this is just a strategy to get him to just settle now, right? Which is what he should do. Like the Browns should be saying, and I'm not saying like the women are lying or anything like that. I'm just saying like they're coming out one by one, little by little. I think the way they're timing it is to kind of put pressure on him. Like, listen, man, but we can keep going. We can keep going if you're not gonna own up to it. If you're not gonna compensate us, we can just keep putting this out there. If I'm the Browns, I say, look, settle up now. Whatever, whether you did it or not, we're not even asking you. We're saying settle these lawsuits and put a rest to this, so we can put us behind this. You serve your suspension, and then we keep it moving. If the league, look, if they suspend him for over a year, I have a problem just in terms of how they treated other quarterbacks with just as bad, if not worse, allegations, right? So I don't see a year. It could be 8 games, right? And I think the Browns are okay with that, right? They got him for the long term, and in fact, they didn't invest that much money into him this year, right? But yes, 66 women in 17 months is a lot. Yeah, man. Yeah, he's got a problem. They should have never dealt with them. But
and
they
also,
did.
They said that they may be adding the Texans as a defendant in these lawsuits as well, because they were providing hotel rooms, they were providing massage tables, they were kind of essentially setting him up. And so his lawyers, or the women's lawyer, said he may be adding the Texans. I see what you're saying here, Tanja, but again, he has not been charged up to this point. That's what we're saying.
That's all. Yeah, that's all we're saying.
Adee saying Trevor Bauer got 2 years for doing less than Watson. If true, Watson needs to be suspended for at least 2 years, and the Texans and Browns need to be punished as well. Adee,
and Trevor Bauer.
No, he did not. If what she said about Trevor Bauer was true, he absolutely did more than Deshaun Watson. But again, like I said, it's a different sport, different standards, and all that. But if everything that has been alleged is true, I mean, he's finished, Deshaun.
So, okay, let me ask you guys, okay? There's a reason why we did this story. Let me ask you guys, how do you feel about Deshaun Watson Do you think he should still be able to play football? Do you think there's enough here to say he shouldn't play the game anymore? It's too much, or do you say, hey, it's bad, but he should still be able to play. No criminal charges. He's not gonna go to prison or anything like that. And he may not be a good person, but he's able to play, and they already signed to a contract. He should be able to play. Let us know. I want to read some of these comments here, and shout out to Attitude Pop. Attitude Pop says, bro, this Deshaun Watson situation is starting to get strange. I believe these women are lying. Because he keeps denying he did anything. If he did something, he might as well say he did it. Texas set him up. That's
not how
listen.
that goes, Attitude.
If 24 women are lying, that is some bad luck.
Like
that is,
because I see Living Legends hanging here
that
too.
That is organized crime, right there.
Accusations without evidence is he said, she said, but it's not he said, she said. It's he said, and 100 different women said. There's no chance that they're all lying. And to Tanja's point, she's saying he did something. There a text. He asked a woman crying, "Is she okay?" Once he left because she was crying. Well, look, I don't think anybody is saying that we believe he didn't do anything.
So hold on. Mm-hmm. We gotta clarify. It's not 66 accusers, right? It's 24 accusers so far.
Right.
66 women. They're saying he booked 66 different women massage therapists, right? Yeah. Not all of them are saying he did something. 24 so far. yet.
We'll see.
So that's the thing. And Sutton says it's going to get to a point where the Browns can't play him at all just because of PR concerns. When you come this far, you just can't care about PR concerns.
Listen, the Rams were playing Leonard Little with protests going on outside because he killed somebody while he was drunk driving. Like, these teams do not care. And that's why we kind of bring it up, because it's a lot of noise about Deshaun Watson right now, right? But it's not as much noise about Daniel Snyder, who was allegedly forcing his cheerleaders to be escorts. There's not as much noise about Jerry Jones, who has a lot of this kind of stuff in his history. Like, are we talking about Jerry sell the Cowboys, Daniel sell the Commanders? Like it, and I know that it's easier to point at Deshaun Watson and say, man, he's a terrible person, get him out of the league. And again, not even disagreeing with that, but it's the problem that I have with it is it can't just be him.
Yeah. And no, I agree with you, son. Not in 2022. No, I think when they signed this deal with him, they understood they're taking a hit for 2022, to be honest. Right. The way, from my understanding, the contract is structured, it's not a big hit in the first year. Right. He's not getting that much in his first year. And I think they set up that way because they anticipated some sort of suspension. So, no, go ahead.
I know. I was saying, and that didn't happen with Leonard Little in 2022, but Tyreek Hill wasn't that long ago, man.
No. Yeah. He is referring to what you were saying before about like the Browns not being able to play him for this year.
No, I thought he was talking about. Can I say that they were playing Leonard Little with protests going on outside, and he's saying in 2022 though. And I'm saying, okay. I mean, yeah, that didn't happen in 2022, but Tyreek Hill was just a couple of years ago, where people thought, hey, he might be getting out the league, and they just signed him to a massive extension.
Now, I'm just curious, like, what do you guys think he should be able to play? Or do you say, nah, that's just we gotta put a stop to stuff like this. We gotta have some sort of standards. I'm curious because that's why we brought up those first two stories, right? That's why we brought the first two stories, because what you're going to hear a lot in the media is about Deshaun Watson. You're going to hear, this is a bad look, for the NFL. He shouldn't play again. The Browns, they're going to catch all the flack for it. And, look,
they have to do a nicer franchise.
They're going to catch all the flack for it.
Yeah.
But what you won't hear about are the Waltons. What you won't hear about is the live league backed by the Saudi government, right? These are evil people. And you're not going to hear a peep about it. So where do your morals lie, I guess, right? And listen, and this isn't us saying you gotta be one way or the other way or whatever, right? We bring this stuff up just to say when you talk about this stuff with other people, or when you read stuff on social media, because people have agendas. People say all kinds of things. Think about who's saying it. Think about why they're saying it, and also just realize, okay, they can have their opinion about it, but don't make you feel guilty. Don't let them make you feel guilty about you rooting for a team or whatever. If you're a Browns fan watching this, right, and you're happy about the Deshaun Watson acquisition, this stuff can bother you, but you can still be excited about your team, is what I'm saying. You can still root for your team with Deshaun Watson on it, right? Don't let anybody tell you different. Don't let anybody push their morals on you, right? Because I can ask you guys, do you shop at Walmart? You know what I'm saying? You do? Well, let me tell you what you're supporting. Okay.
Like, yeah, don't try to shame me while you're tweeting from your iPhone that was made with slave labor. But I can say myself, I wanted Carolina to get Deshaun Watson. They were in it allegedly. They didn't get it done. But there, like you said, there's a difference between saying, hey, I like this guy as a person and I want this guy on my football team. Because again, if you're not going down that road of zero tolerance, and if you have these kind of issues, you're out, somebody is going to have Deshaun Watson, right? Yeah. And the Falcons and the Saints were two other teams who were in it. So if he goes to Atlanta or he goes to New Orleans and they're beating Carolina twice every year because they have Deshaun Watson, I'm not going to feel better about the Panthers because they didn't get Deshaun Watson. The head coach is not going to be able to keep his job because they don't have Deshaun Watson. The GM's not going to be able to keep his job because, hey, we don't have a quarterback, but you said we couldn't get Deshaun Watson. Like it goes down that whole line. And like I said, if you're allowing these players in the league, if you're allowing Tyreek Hill in the league, if you're allowing Deshaun Watson in the league, if you're allowing all these other guys in the league, then I mean, it's tough to say, hey, well, we're going to police the morality of the fan base.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing, right? Because it's all about PR, right? We get it, but man, like you said, like Daniel Snyder is an owner, and I mean, he has power over these people, right? Like he's willing his power to do terrible things, and even now, like he stole from the other owners, right? We just talked about this a couple weeks ago. Yeah. Check out that video. He stole from the other owners. I mean, that might be what the thing that gets him out, but excuse me. Yeah. But he's still here. I mean, that says a lot.
Yeah. Danity saying, personally, I tend not to automatically believe women when they make accusations because it's unfair to black men, but 24 women not lying. So I think a suspension is warranted, 8 to 17 games. And listen, I tend to agree with you there. And even if even if all of them were lying, he would still get suspended. That's the way the NFL rolls. You remember Ezekiel Elliott got suspended when their own investigation found that he did nothing wrong.
The investigators suggested, she recommended, do not believe this witness. She's not credible. You heard the audio of her saying, they're not going to believe you. You're a black man. I'm a white woman. They'll never believe you. And they still suspended him.
Yeah.
But I'm with you. But listen, I don't believe anybody. I believe facts available to me. And we're not going to always know all the facts, but this stuff right here, like you said, that's hard. That's hard to look past. So I believe those women. Sorry. Yeah.